part of it.
To say that Queen Victoria School is unique is for some of us a bit of a cliche now, but it is very special and very different. I think Queen Victoria School, for example, is not, as most people would expect a boarding school to be, is not a fee-paying independent school. On the other hand, it's not a local authority school. And we are funded by the MOD, and what makes the school, I think, particularly special is the eligibility for the boys to come here. They must all be the sons of Scottish servicemen. And in that, we take not according to academic selection, but as much as we can, according in the first place to need. And within need, obviously the compassionate cases will come first. And unfortunately, we do have a number of compassionate cases of boys who've lost their parents. Over and above that, the need will be to provide for them continuous education and the stability of one school. I think the most striking example I have is of a boy who, by the age of 9, had been to 11 schools. We're very proud that, in fact, we have got still many of the ceremonial aspects of the school, many of the traditions and the original ethos, which we have, I think, quite rightly cherished and continued with. And if you wanted actually to see somebody who could tell you about this school as it was at the beginning, then you'd go and see someone like George Dowling, who lives in the village and was a child here when the school was built. Excuse me. Headmaster? Hospital sister, yes? Chickenpox.
Yes. Young Stephen Hutton, Waverley. He was home at weekend and apparently his sister had them recently. Yes, I'll pop him into bed. Okay, I'll keep you posted. Bye-bye. Okay, Stephen. Yes, Neil. I'll let the headmaster know. You pop him into bed. Yes, thank you. Okay. We're a small unit. We have 14 beds, 2 3-bedded wards and 1 8-bedded ward. But the bulk of our work is done in 2 particular surgeries. The nursing surgery, the day surgery, where the boys come in on an outpatient basis, great deal of mothering, that sort of thing. And then the surgery next door, the dental surgery, that's very busy. The local dentist comes up 2 or 3 times a week.
Let's have a wee look around. Yeah, that's great. Big improvement from last time.
The bulk of our work is as a result of sports injuries. And of course, with young boys, infectious diseases. Stephen, I've got Fuzzy.
I'll take Fuzzy over to Stephen. Yeah, Stephen, we've got a visitor for you.
When my father retired from the Cameronians in 1907, he came to the school with my mother and 5 children. I was 4 years old then. He was to take on the job of hall porter and night watchman when the school opened the following year. Meanwhile, he helped the gardener plant the many trees and shrubs around the grounds. On a cold grey day in September 1908, King Edward VII took the key from a velvet cushion held by my father and formally opened the Queen Victoria School, and on that day also laid the foundation stone of the chapel. The boys started to arrive in the early months of 1909.
For the food and drink we're about to see, may the Lord make us truly thankful.
The school follows the Scottish educational system, and our main point of entry is at primary 6, which is when boys are 10 years old. They spend 2 years in the primary department and then move up into the senior school. Behind that we have the house structure, which is the little boys in Wavell House, and then in the senior school we have 2 intermediate houses, 12 to 15, Cunningham and Trenchard, and then a senior house, Hague, which is roughly about 16 to 18.
Now, John, let's see if you've grown anything said, please.
Have you ever worn a kilt before?
Not that I know, I think.
What did you know of? You look very nice on it anyway. We'll try to try to talk.
When we take boys into the school, we're probably fairly different too, because most of their parents have not got boarding school experience behind them. And so for the boys, it's a sort of double first time. Naturally, there are going to be problems of homesickness. For the vast majority, that's over within the first 3 or 4 weeks.
Okay. There's the piping coming up, and there's the play field down there. Now we'll go back to wait. Okay? Right, now these are all the pigeonholes. As you can see, there's your number there, 4205. You must always remember your number because it's on every item of clothing that you have. Any laundry that you have to collect a hand in, you collect it from Hampstead there. Okay?
Okay.
Right, now we'll go to your dog. This is your bed space here, the bed in your locker. Now, if you'd just like to unload your kit bag, and the housemaster will be good to you in a few minutes. Okay?
Oh, Mary,
Okay.
is that my t-shirt?
Yes, we nearly finished it. Hold on now, you can take it with you. Looking forward to the disco Saturday.
Yeah, it should be quite good, but there's only one problem. There's a girl at the disco that I'm going out with at the moment. No, I want to go out with another girl that's going there.
Well, I think maybe the best thing that you can do is to tell your girlfriend straight away at the disco, and then it leaves it all free for you to get a chance to go with this other girl, and then there'll be no misunderstandings, will there? I just think that would do. I'm quite happy doing that.
Mm.
Tom,
Sir?
I've got somebody I want you to meet. This is Philip. Shake hands, boys. That's the way. Philip's going to be your second-year boy, and he's going to look after you for the first few weeks, and hopefully he'll become just an ordinary friend to you.
Sure.
Is there anything you want to ask me?
I was wondering how much pocket money we got a week.
You get about £1 to begin with. We can always give you a bit more if you've got a brother's birthday or something like that.
Right, boys, we've got Murrayfield on Saturday. Remember, some of you are playing it, so let's go over a couple of the tunes. First, I Am a Young Man That Lived With My Mother. Start off the E, keep the time down. 1, 2.
This is Mr. Beatty's Primary 6 World Cup project.
The project we're doing is on World Cup. It's called Italia 90, brought out by Jordan Hill. It's basically about football. It's got language work in it, it's got environmental studies work, etc. But because the boys are football daft, I thought it's a great opportunity to use it in the summer term. It's got a lot of things about statistics, etc. The players' survey, which tells the boys all about the players' height, etc. We can use some maths in it.
Alan McInally, 6'1.5" inches. David McPherson, 6 feet.
It's got some language work where they can use their reading skills, etc. But basically, it's football, and they are football daft in this school. Any free time, they're out playing football. Now, we coach them rugby here, and rugby is the number one sport. But I think the boys' sport, their number one sport, is football. One of the good things about the school is that the boys wear Rangers strips, Celtic strips, Aberdeen strips, and there's no sectarianism.
This is Frau Harry's German class. Guten Tag, heute sind wir in der Jugendherberge. Frau Howie ist die Herbergsmutter.
Guten Tag. Guten Tag. Und wann haben Sie geschrieben? Wie heißen Sie? Wie war der Name bitte? Ach so, ich habe ihn hier. Was haben Sie reserviert? Naja, das ist so einen Jungen und ein Mädchen, nicht wahr? Ja. Und wie lange wollen Sie bleiben?
2 semesters lang. This is Mr. Carroll's fieldcraft exercise.
Robots and nothings. They can grow.
I'll shove that one on.
I want these brown biscuits. You can have the other brown biscuits. These red? No, for me, thanks. You want it?
Yeah.
Remember, you've got to be able to see out the front. I'm taking the first watch essentially.
Bratty, a field on.
You want to eat this?
I don't know, I'm just making the tea.
Well, I don't want to eat it.
James, check your beans, see how they're doing now. How you doing? You alright?
Yeah.
So you've cooked your beans, you've cooked your bacon grill, and you've got your warm water there for your cup of tea as well. So you've conserved energy, and you've got a wee meal all made up for yourself. Alright. Now don't let the water evaporate, or else you're going to have nothing left to make your brew-ups.
Okay, good night, lads.
Yeah. One or two misconceptions about the school still survive. For some outside, they may still see it as the orphanage on the hill that it was once called. It most certainly is not that. Others may see it as some kind of military academy, some sort of little mini Sandhurst. It certainly is not that. It is 95% of the time a perfectly normal, I hope, boarding school, which has got that little bit, 5% extra of the ceremonial and the service ethos. But nevertheless, we have a full civilian teaching staff, and the school really is very largely civilian now. But we do still at this stage have a commandant, and some may ask why.
I suppose really it is an accident of history. When the school was first founded, it was founded with a retired officer as commandant and an almost entirely service staff. And it was really only in the early 60s or so when the school switched much more to education as opposed to training for life in services, which is what they were originally recruited for. And the school switched to a civilian teaching staff. But the position of the commandant became increasingly anachronistic, particularly in the last decade of the 20th century. There is an intention that I should become the bursar, because that actually is really what I am. I am the administrator. I am responsible for the housing, the catering, the dressing, the repairs to the buildings, etc. And I have the further responsibility, and this is perhaps the only justification for Commandant, in that I do have a direct responsibility for the ceremonial traditions of the school, the piping, the drumming, and with the assistance of the school town major, the actual ceremonial parades and that sort of thing. As far as the band is concerned, where we set a standard is in the junior school, because every pupil in the junior school, as part of his timetable, has to learn to drum, pipe, or dance. When they move up to the senior school at the age of 12 plus, they have the option of remaining. It takes up an awful lot of their time. We expect them to give up an hour of their own time on Monday, Tuesday, and Fridays.
Neutralization reaction, which we're going to follow on the computer, we've got 0.1 molar hydrochloric acid in the burette and 10 cubic centimetres of 0.1 molar sodium hydroxide in the flask. And through the pH probe, we'll be able to get the voltage into the computer, which will show us the graph on the computer.
So, you started too quick. Keep it in time. Watch the time, okay? Rolls. 1, 2.
I'd like to go to university and get a degree in chemistry and become an industrial chemist.
I'd like to be a barrister.
I'd like to join the army as a Royal Military Police or on close protection.
I'd like to be a diver and work in the North Sea.
I'd like to join the Royal Electrical and Mechanical Engineers.
Be a manager of a bank.
I'd like to join a parachuting regiment like my father.
You should all have a big enough spread of subjects still to be able to do most things that you would want to do. But there are limitations that will still be there, and some of those are to do with where you live. How many of you are living in, for example, Germany at the moment? There's 2 of you. Right, okay. Now, with you, what you're going to have to be careful of is that you make sure that you get as many qualifications out of here as possible. If you're still in Germany when you leave school, and if you leave school at 16, then the number of opportunities for jobs there are very, very limited. So you've got to try and make sure that you've got enough qualifications to be able to perhaps stay on at QV, or at least to go on to further education in Britain, so that you will, at the end of the day, be able to follow whatever career it is you want to do.
When we go to the school on pass, we have to wear our compulsory uniform, i.e. kilts and green jackets, and the locals therefore see us as snobs, but we're not really snobbish public schoolboys.
No, we're just the same as them really, because like, all our fathers served in the ranks for 5 years, because like if anyone's son was they were officer, they couldn't come straight in, they'd have to serve in the ranks in some form or other. So there's no way that we're some rich upper class people anyway.
Yeah, we're not upper class public schoolboys like everybody thinks. Letter from the headmaster, sir.
Thank you. Well, I can't read this.
Due to the headmaster's bad handwriting, sir, what he's saying is that he'd be most grateful if you'd agree to take the salute for the pre-service on Sunday, please, sir.
Yes, I will. Thank you.
Right, thanks very much, sir.
Thank the headmaster very much for me.
The hymn is number 484. Courage, brother, do not stumble.
I joined the school in 1912. My number was 269. The first 6 months were spent in the sewing room, learning to darn, sew and patch. After that we had the chance to pick our own trade: piper, drummer, military band, tailor's shop, shoemaker's shop, and later woodwork. I chose the band.
At the school, we like to encourage the boys to get out on the water, do a bit of windsurfing, a bit of sailing. We come here to Loch Orr twice a week for a session of about between 2 and 3 hours.
Right, boys, it's important to keep the wind on your back, all right? The wind behind you.
Loch Orr Meadows is about an hour's drive from the school, and we can bring down between 10 to 15 boys each time. Here today we've got a group, smaller than usual group. We've got 6 boys on windsurfers. Some of the boys actually have never been on windsurfers before, so this is their first time. One of the problems we have is in the amount of equipment that we have. We have 2 junior rigs, which are more suited to the smaller boy, but also useful for the beginner, because it's much easier for him to get the mast out of the water. Now we've seen the example of the boy. It's having great difficulty getting the mast out, because that is one of our biggest masts, and it would be better for him to have a smaller one, but we don't have enough to go around, so they have to take turnabout. We keep 4 mirror dinghies here, using 2 today.
This is Mr. Woolman's Latin class.
Talking, Gemma?
Yes, sir.
Who to?
The camera, sir.
Latin?
No, sir, in English.
This class will speak Latin.
Right, sir. The story is in 4.
drives in, and the Scots already taking the play to England. Come on!
goes for the end of the game. And Scotland have won a famous victory. One of the unique occasions in rugby union football. And Scotland have won by 13 points to 7.
I really enjoy sport, especially athletics, but hammer's my main event, and I actually managed to get chosen for the Scotland team to represent them at Meadowbank in the British schools.
45 metres and 10.
So I'm pleased with that, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Come on, Andy.
In the 100 metres, I was really disappointed because I slipped at the start because I didn't have my spikes. I'd lent them out to someone else. But those things happen, and Paul's a good runner. He deserved to win.
Now, do you know what breaking in means? It means you don't have to run in your lane all the way round. You can go to the inside. Right, now stand back from your line. The command will be on your mark, and hopefully, bang. Watch the start, please. Okay. Right, then the third runner, once he's past the finish, can then cut in. On your mark.
One of the last events I did, the 200 relay. We managed to win that, and everyone was really happy. That was one of the events that helped me get my individual championship medal, and also to win Trenchard, the championships that we lost last year to Cunningham.
Out a wee bit, your hip isn't in properly. It's shoulder thing, it's got to be in there. Close. Nice your lip. You see it? Come up, no, my tape. You slid forward.
I like the way you've introduced, this sort of swirling pattern. Where did you get the idea from?
I was looking at the Van Gogh.
I do enjoy drawing and painting especially, and I started a certificate of 6-year studies course, but found it was just too time-consuming. Time that I needed to study other subjects that finally were going to decide my future career, which will hopefully be a commission in the Royal Marines.
Why did you use this gilt-edged frame, Craig?
Well, basically that was meant to be it was actually meant to frame the design. Add a little bit of class to the French perfume type feel of the design. I found it was actually too intricate. It really brought your attention away from what we were actually focusing on, what the design was actually meant to say.
I like the design of the bottle.
When I leave school, I'm going on to college to do an art foundation course, after which, hopefully, I'm going to do the Army SSLC, Short Service Limited Commission, which entails that I do a year in the Army as an officer, a second lieutenant, and then I go on, sponsored by the Army, to do 4 years in Edinburgh College of Art, doing a degree course in graphic design, after which a further 4 years in the Army.
Amongst the boys,
we have a huge range of academic ability, for they are not selected as a result of academic prowess, but initially because they're having some sort of problem as a result of father's service. Once some of these problems are resolved, some of them, of course, begin to leap ahead and discover the ability that they've always had, but haven't been realising it because of the problems of leaping from base to base around the service schools. Some of them, on the other hand, will constantly struggle all the way through. We have the full range of academic ability. We also have the full range of type of boy. We have everything from the boy who's naturally cooperative to the boy who's an out-and-out rogue. Queen Victoria School has its characters as well, and one has to deal with these. People see the school as being a very well-disciplined school, with the boys marching all in order and military discipline being the thing, but in actual fact it's something which has to be worked at very hard, and nowadays society tends to tie our hands a little bit more than it used to do. We used, for example, to have corporal punishment here. We don't any longer, and if you ask quite a number of the boys, they will tell you they would much prefer that we had corporal punishment.
Well, put it this way, you had the belt, okay? If you did something wrong, you're whacked over the hand, okay? Like, just put it straight out, okay? That was it over with. You didn't have the restrictions, you didn't have to go into detention, that type of thing, gating, you didn't have to go down and do days, that type of thing. It was just over with like that.
That means that you're kept in school all the time due to gating and all that, so it becomes more monotonous. The daily routine becomes more monotonous.
You don't like big psychological punishments, you know, they bashed you and have done with it. I must remember that next time you're up to mischief. What about the idea that some people who were belted kept on coming back and being belted and being belted and being belted?
So the only reason the last parade went reasonably okay was because the guard in front of the colour party, I sorted them out. I made sure that they marched properly. So they gave them a good couple of scuds across the head, you know.
That's what everybody needs.
Right into you.
That's what there's a lack of. Scuds across the head.
Scuds across the head would really be terribly appreciated by parents, for example.
Yeah, but that's why discipline's went down the hill.
Scud across the lug will not make someone march
It
better.
will do.
The belt will. A scud across the lug will. A belt will.
It will do. If you threaten this style, he's going to march properly.
What do you think of the band?
It's fine. Got a lot of young ones.
Up to what it was like in your day?
Aye.
Yeah. Good. And are you drumming?
No, I've got no time.
Why not, John?
Victorians are formed up and ready for inspection, sir. There are 261 boys on parade.
One of the main recommendations of the last HMI report was that the school should in fact have a larger pupil role, and this will make it a more viable school both financially and educationally for the future. And in that we very much expect that this will include the introduction of girls, something I think the boys will like very much and certainly I would approve of.